in the criminal justice system.
Domestic-based offenses are considered especially chaotic. In Guantanamo City, the dedicated detectives who investigate these heinous felonies are members of an elite squad known as the Special Domestic Unit.
These are their stories.
7 robberies, all electronic stores, all by a pot-bellied man with a handgun, all just before closing.
Yes, sir, that is correct.
And when did your robbery unit determine these robberies were part of a pattern?
After the third one.
But you didn't write it up until the 7th had occurred.
No, sir.
And as a result, when a similar robbery occurred in Springfield, they were unable to connect it to your pattern.
We made a mistake.
Yes, you did. It seems robbery is not your strong suit. Accordingly, I would ask that you report to the personnel office for reassignment. That is all. Okay, let's hear from the Special Domestic Unit, Captain Don.
Good morning, Commissioner Gordon.
Good morning, Captain. I understand we have a man who likes to box on the Fifth Avenue train and bus.
We used to. Detective Swanson and Moore made an arrest yesterday.
You sure he's the guy?
Yes, Chief Reagan. His name is Adam Viegas, and he has a long list of priors.
Good. Let's hope corrections can handle his WWE moves. Slide. Do you recognize these addresses, Captain Don?
No, sir, I do not.
Well, let me refresh your memory. 3 break-in assaults in less than a week. Last week, DNA backlog matched them up to the same unknown assailant. Do you remember now?
No.
If you'd read your circular, you'd recognize this as newly identified murder pattern for 2020.
In 2020, sir, I was in the gangs unit in 2020.
But it's still yours. Have you done anything on these 3 cases lately?
No, sir, they were considered cold.
You realize if no progress is made very soon on these cases, we'll be time barred from proceeding with prosecution.
Sir, I am, of course, aware of the 5-year statute of limitations on assault, but
have you or your people talked to any of the victims since you took command of the SDU?
No, sir.
Well, now is your opportunity, Captain. One of them has volunteered to address us today. Ms. Jackson?
My name is Amanda Jackson. On March 8, 2020, while I slept, a man broke into my apartment. He was armed with a pea-coated knife and box cutters. He repeatedly took possessions of jewelry from me, he punched me, took pictures of me and my kids and my family, then left. I immediately notified the police, but no arrest was ever made. Commissioner Gordon recently informed me that the same man assaulted 2 other women. No arrest was made in either of their cases. I don't understand why, but assault carries a 5-year statute of limitations. It's harder to dodge a parking ticket. If he's not arrested soon, then the man who assaulted and attacked me will never be punished. I urge the GACPD, and especially the Special Domestic Unit, to revisit my case before the statute expires. Thank you, Commissioner, for the opportunity to speak.
Captain Don?
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. I promise you we will assign your case the highest priority.
How was the DB Comstat?
Terrible.
That bad?
That bad. Yeah, Comstat is like having the IRS audit your case files every 3 weeks.
Yeah, Compstat is the worst system except for all the others. You know, it's a pain in the ass for guys like me, but it was weed out the slackers who aren't pulling their weight.
Hey, I'm working on the Fifth Avenue Boxer.
Alright, well the typing can wait. I want something you would read on, alright. Her name is Diane Wilson. She was assaulted and attacked in her apartment. Lord, you take the other two victims, same door, same endo.
But this stuff looks like it's from 2020.
The ME is working through the DNA backlog on 12,000 kids at fluids from unsolved possible homicides and assaults, matching them against every offender in the system, or not in the system. So what, we have 3 open attacks never before connected to each other, all done by the same guy in less than a week.
Do we have a name?
No, but we do have this genetic profile, so, for now, we'll use the lapse designation John Doe 125.
His MO is this: he breaks into women's apartments, sneaks into their rooms while they're asleep. They wake up, his face is covered, attacks them, assaults them and abuses them.
Then he steals their possession, whatever they have, takes his weapon and walks out the front door.
So he assaults 3 and then stops?
Well, maybe he started attacking them on the internet.
A very cyber attacker.
White male, in his 20s, maybe in his 30s now. Between 5'10" and 6'1", his weight is 170. Obviously that might have changed by now.
Only now, he could be a tub of lard with a grain buzz cut.
But wait, these are almost 5 years cold. The statute of limitations is going to expiring.
That's exactly the point. Okay, while you're re-interviewing the victims, I'm going to go to the DA and see if we can file an arrest warrant.
An arrest warrant on a nobody?
Not nobody. We'll try to get the warrant on his DNA John Doe 125 that might stop the clock.
They've tried that in New York and Wisconsin.
Well, these are the days. Until the statute of limitations expires on each case, it should be in the files. So, if we fail and the courts deny us, then in 4 days, John Doe 125 is going to get away with 3 attacks.
No, it's been 5 years, but there might have been something that came to you, something that you realized about the attacker.
He was wearing a stocking mask?
Yes, that's in the detective's notes.
Maybe something you saw later that reminded you of him?
No, I don't think so.
2 other women were attacked and assaulted by the same man, and both of them reported that he left through the front door, but your file doesn't say how he left.
Oh, good question.
This was the floor plan of the apartment where you were living in 2020. Take a look.
Oh yeah, I forgot. See? In my old apartment, to get to the living room you have to get through the kitchen.
How'd he leave?
I guess he went out the front door. I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Jackie, we're on your case full-time now. So, if you need anything or have any more information, please call us. Okay.
We're looking at a 3-time domestic abuser.
And what do you want me to do?
Persuade a judge to issue a warrant for his arrest.
We have no name.
We have a unique genetic profile.
What the Wisconsin and New York maneuver, there is no case law in Viet, let alone go animate.
Alright, well, somebody got to be first. Okay. This man attacked the women they possibly know in their homes and stole stuff from them on their way out.
I know, but when the precedents were created no one anticipated these scientific advancements. You are looking at a lot of illegal work.
Let me just put it this way, Amelia, every time you get into a cab or bus, John Doe 125 might be the driver.
The attack was so random and a surprise. That's what you always hear, and it's true, but that's not the whole story.
What do you mean?
What happened afterwards changed my life. I received so much love and support from so many people. It reaffirmed my faith in humanity.
Well, you seem to have adjusted very well.
I went to a very dark place. I wanted to die. But the people in my life saw that happening and they took care of me once I thought I was alone, but now I know I'm part of a family.
We're reopening your case, Ms. Wilson. We just learned from DNA that 2 other women were attacked by the same man.
When did it happen?
Within a week of your attack. We thought if we cross-referenced the 3 stories, we might be able to make some headway.
One of the other victims reported that the attacker knew personal details of her life. You reported the same thing.
Yes, I did. He knew my cat's name and the restaurant where I sometimes ate lunch and breakfast.
Is there anything you've remembered since, or some detail you may have failed to report or came to you later?
Nothing that I didn't tell the detectives back then. It's not a period of my life that I like to revisit.
I understand, and we're sorry to have to bring this up, but we on Y have a small window of time.
Why?
In assault cases, charges have to be brought within 5 years.
I just want this to end.
Excuse me, Your Honor, we need an arrest warrant.
And I need to eat lunch.
Well, this is Gurjet.
Where's his name?
It's a John Doe warrant. You've issued those before.
Yeah, I issued one yesterday. 4 guys robbed the Guanamut Bank. We arrested 3. I issued a warrant for the 4th guy based on his gang name and his description. Who's your guy?
He assaulted, attacked and robbed 3 women. The identifying information's right here.
This looks like a lab report.
It is. It's the offender's DNA. The enemies labeled him John Doe 125.
Oh, like the casing, huh?
Wisconsin and New York.
Right, well, Wisconsin and New York doesn't have VN's powerful defense bar, so why don't we just wait and let this case run its course?
It won't be litigated until the suspect's apprehended, which may be never.
And the statute of limitations runs out tonight.
Well, then give it about 5 years, so at least you can give me till the end of the day to make a decision.
To tell you the truth, I was disappointed in the detectives who were originally assigned to my case.
What was disappointing?
I never got the impression that they were the best or the brightest. They were overloaded with other cases, and the man who attacked me is still out there.
Well, I can't speak for them, but I'm sure they were trying their best.
I disagree, so I hired a private investigator, someone who answers only to me. These are copies of all his reports. First off, he found the security in my building deficient, but that's another matter. I've got a suit going against them. Then there was the guy on the bike.
What guy?
One of my neighbors in the building where I used to live saw a kid speed away right after it happened.
We'd like to talk to him.
You should.
I was standing out here smoking a blunt, maybe midnight, 1 am. Then, from the alley, this kid speeds out on a green bike, sees me, swerves, wham. He falls to the ground. I think maybe he's hurt, go to see. He's got a cut on his elbow. But he just gets back up on his bike and speeds away.
What kind of bike?
An R500 touring bike. Fenders, drop handlebars, reflect wheels, lime green paint.
You really know your bikes.
I mean, I worked in a bike shop over 30 years.
Did you get a look at the rider?
He was wearing a motorcycle helmet on the bike and a jumpsuit.
Maybe a uniform?
I don't know. It's been 5 years.
Counsel Captain Dunn, I find your application for an arrest warrant ingenious. The statute of limitations has a long history in common law. It exists to ensure that the defendant receives a fair trial, to make sure that the recollection of witnesses, if any, are fresh, to pressure the government to file charges in a timely manner, and so that rightly or wrongly, accused citizens need not live their life in fear of the government pursuing them. After a long delay, but when these laws were codified, we did not have the technological marvels that exist today. Your application is a novel idea. However, it is not the rule of this court to give novel ideas. And as such, I cannot grant your application.
Your Honor, Ms. Jackson will not see justice unless an arrest warrant is issued.
Are you going to appeal this decision?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good, because I've already passed the paperwork on to an appellate term judge in anticipation of such an appeal.
You have?
Yes, I have. Because if my decision is reversed, I hope it's done soon enough to do you some good. This hearing is adjourned.
Ms. Jackson, you didn't hear the rest of his decision.
It's going to be appealed.
It's going to be okay.
It's not, okay. You people fell down on the job and you thought you'd use some legal trickery to cover your mistakes?
That's not true.
You waited 5 years for this half-cocked legal maneuver. Is that supposed to mollify me? Am I the only one to know the laws and ass? I endured the investigation. I let you know intimate details of my personal life. It was embarrassing, but I did it, and the promise was, you would do something for me. And today, yet another in a long line of incompetence tells me, sorry, Ms. Jackson, you got attacked, we're not going to do jack about it. Thank you for making this the second worst day of my entire life. I believe and I think you know what the first one was.
Amanda Jackson was attacked by John Doe 125 5 years ago today. She will never see him stand trial for that attack.
Okay, what do you want us to do with her case now?
Well, let's stick with it, alright. It doesn't matter how we get him, maybe we can make him on one of the other cases.
And she can still testify at the other victim's trial under Molyneux.
Another right-wing and run around the Constitution.
Whose side are you on, William?
Don't get me wrong, I want this guy as much as anyone, but in the name of cracking down on crime sometimes I feel we throw civil liberties to the wind.
Hold on, Liam, what are you saying? That if John Doe 125 marched in here right now and confessed to Amanda Jackson's attack, that you'd be okay with letting him go?
Not at all. The same law that protects you and me.
Against what?
There was a time when I was a thorn in the government's side, so I'm glad they can't capriciously decide to arrest one of us for old crimes, real or imagined.
Liam, we're not capriciously arresting anyone. We have DNA.
You know we're not arresting anyone until we make a case on one of the other attacks.
All right. We are going to talk with some of the detectives who were originally investigating.
Liam, is that okay with you?
Sure, it'll be like visiting the Special Domestic Unit Alumni Association, all the people that used to sit at these desks and the old ones back at the 16th precinct. Where are they now?
Of course I remember the break-in of Amanda Jackson. It was one of those frustrating no-lead dogs of a case. It was one of the reasons I transferred.
Frustration?
No, she sued me and my partner.
Amanda Jackson sued you. On what grounds?
She got some high-priced attorney to say we were derelict in our duties. The department lawyers handled it, the lawsuit was thrown out.
Talk about no good deed goes unpunished.
She was just angry that we weren't making any headway. But you know, we were on her case 24/7.
Did you have any suspects?
We weren't even close, but I had a pretty clear mental picture of the kind of guy he was.
And what were your findings?
He gets past 2 locked doors, and this is one of those buildings where you have to get buzzed in the front door and then buzzed in again for the elevator. But none of the tenants remember letting anyone in, even though someone had to.
The kind of guy nobody notices.
Right, white guy, underemployed, filled with resentment. A nobody like a paperboy or a meter reader.
Yeah, now he's a triple nobody.
What do you mean?
DNA matched him to 2 other attacks, which includes bodily fluids.
I hate to hear that.
You worked the case. Complainant's name was Diane Wilson.
Oh yeah, real nice lady.
We've reopened her case. Anything that you remember that might not be in her file, we'd appreciate.
Oh, this guy who knew all about her.
An acquaintance?
Oh, that's what you'd think, but she didn't know him.
What kind of things did he know?
What kind of car she drove, where she worked, where she shopped, what she liked to buy.
Where'd you get that kind of info?
We never found out. We thought maybe he tapped her phones, or read her mail, but it never makes sense until you get the guy in the interrogation room, you know?
We timed her attack to 2 others. We caught the other attacks.
Mercy Wong had Jackson's.
Mercy, great gal. You know we never made the connection.
Who got the other one?
Detective Michael Banks.
Ah hell.
Why, what about him?
What can I say? You know the type. You think maybe he should leave the job, but you're not going to badmouth another detective, right?
What did he do?
Well, he said most of those type of attacks were fantasies. He screwed up on a different case, was given the choice to retire, or to be fired. He retired.
Where is he now?
He runs this cop bar out in Springfield, it's called the 99. Old-timers go there too, but you should talk to him.
So Ben, what made you get out of Special Domestic?
Well, my last case, victim was burned and murdered. All in a day's work, right? But there's plier marks all over her body like she was tortured for a week by her stepfather before she died. Her name was Alyssa. Nobody sees what we see.
Domestic crimes cops are garbage collectors. Do your 3 years and get out.
We wanted to talk to you about one of your old cases.
Hey, I retired.
Yeah, but the attacker didn't.
The department didn't do me any favors. 6 months shy of my 20, and they squeeze me out so they can screw me on the pension. Bastards, watch your back.
Snake pit of politics, that's what that is. But I'll tell you what, we've been stuck with it, so we were hoping you could help us out. You know, cop to cop.
Yeah, the hysterical girl.
You hardly made any notes.
You'll learn.
Learn what?
Self-preservation, how to pick your shots. If you go all out on every so-called attack, you'll wear yourself into the ground.
What do you think of the case?
Right there is the whole story. ONS.
ONS.
One night stand, she's a bookworm type. If she ever did find a guy, she wouldn't know what to do with him, right?
What's that got to do with anything?
She gets laid, feels bad about it, makes up this mysterious stranger who knows all these intimate details about her personal life. Knowing it's a spouse.
So you're saying nothing happened?
Come on, she did get lucky.
probably with some pimply little bookworm. But the attack? Nah, that's a stretch.
You're pretty sure of yourself.
Morning after regrets.
Well, you know what, Michael? DNA's matched her attacker's blood with 2 other abuse victims. We're filing an arrest warrant on the genetic ID.
So I made a mistake.
Counsel. You've made a solid case for the certainty with which DNA identifies as an individual.
1 in 7 billion, Your Honor.
That's probably about as specific as having John Doe 125's name, address, social security and phone number.
Yes, Your Honor.
Why not file a warrant on every break-in attack?
I'm not following you, Your Honor.
It's the future, right? You just get a little smear of genetic information, file a John Doe, and catch the perpetrator at our leisure.
Your Honor, the people are only making this application because of the unique circumstances of this case.
But if the court says yes this time, why not go all the way? Why just stop at abuses? We could make out arrest warrants for every mugger, rapist, sidewalk spider, turnstile jumper, using little swatches of genetic code.
Your Honor, he brutally attacked 3 women and the statute of limitations on his crimes expires in 2 days.
The court understands what a danger he may be to the community, but that does not mean that we can circumvent the law to apprehend him. The application to file an arrest warrant for John Doe 125 is denied.
I was 24, and the biggest thing that had ever happened to me was when Kobe died in the helicopter crash, and my boyfriend and I went to every Lakers game because it was tragic, and we loved him.
I want you to tell us what the attacker did.
The stabbings wasn't the worst thing. I'm not queasy about that. I had even thought about what I would if I were ever attacked like that. It was just something that happened, but it was what he said.
What did he say?
He knew I liked Kobe, and he wanted to talk about the 96 games.
He was eavesdropping.
Why did he have to do that? I gave him my jewels, my money. I wanted him to just leave, and he wanted to just talk about all the things that were mine, and I was scared. We talked about Kobe, and then he says, "You're a big fan, Jackie," and he leaves. Besides you guys, the only person that calls me Jackie is my grandfather. Like, how does he know that?
That's what we're trying to find out. You know, the other 2 survivors, they reported a similar experience.
The other detective, the one who came before, I told him, and he said that maybe I should relocate somewhere else or seek therapy about the attack.
What kind of therapist?
A shrink. Like it didn't happen, like I was crazy.
You're not crazy, and you can help us find the man who did this.
Do you think someone tapped your telephone?
No,
your mail.
because he knew about
That's what-
things that I never talked about over the phone, like where I went ice skating in the park.
Do you think he could have been on a bicycle?
Yes, a green bicycle. I told the other detectives that, and he said that for a while I would be seeing every man on the street as the attacker.
No, Jackie, I can assure you, he was real.
I knew it was him because he was always around, and I kept seeing him before. Months before he broke into my room, but I knew it was him. The man on the green bike.
Amanda Jackson?
She was attacked in her apartment.
You talked to a witness who saw a green bike.
And?
You billed her for 97 hours at $200 an hour.
A retiree saw a green bicycle. I thought maybe it was a messenger service. Yeah, there was this one. Green Machine Bike Messengers.
Well, did you interview the messenger service? Because it's not in your report.
No, see, they'd gone out of business.
Yeah, but the employees didn't fall off the face of the earth.
You guys are cops. You got the resources I can only dream about.
You think John Doe 125 is a bicycle messenger?
Messenger, voyeur, stalker. He followed these women weeks, months before he attacked them.
What was he invisible?
Well, he's seen but not seen. He follows them around on his bike. He watches Jacqueline in the park with her grandfather, learns their secret name. He watches Wilson calling her dog. He knows where they go cause he follows them.
Textbook power reassurance attacker behavior. The spine is just a prelude to the attack. He learned their schedules.
And then when he knows that they're home alone, he breaks into their secure buildings by conning them, simply saying, "Oh, I have a package for you." Goes in, beats them, walks out, and rides away.
I've been ordering a lot of books over the internet on Amazon and I couldn't describe one of the express delivery guys that drops them off.
There you go. Perfect disguise.
Hey, I found his old boss. The owner of the bankrupted Green Machine Bicycle Messenger now runs a dry cleaning place.
All my guys wore the jumpsuit and rode green on 500.
It sounds pretty snazzy. How many employees did you have?
Well, I don't know. 50 in any given day.
Listen, if we
Probably
gave you a
100
list of
or
addresses, would you be able to tell us if you made any deliveries there?
Sure, it would take a couple of weeks.
We were thinking you could look it up on the computer. We only want to check about 5 or 6 addresses. These are your records?
What can I say? I was a better cyclist than I was a businessman.
What happened to your company?
Forgot to pay all the taxes. Kind of got busted by the IRS on that. One of my guys got hurt. I didn't have all the right insurance. We were very good at what we did. We just weren't too good with the paperwork.
Right. Listen, can we take these?
Or you can keep them. If I get audited again, I'll tell them the cops took the records. Great excuse.
These are the individual messenger receipts. The middle line is where the delivery was made.
We'll never get through this in time. The statute on the last case runs out in 2 days.
Yeah, but you know, we just need to know if a messenger was sent to a particular address. You know what? Let's just look at the billing records.
Got anything? I see you got the files from the owner.
Wait, what was the name of the company where Wilson used to work?
Stars Insurance Services.
That's what I thought. Look at this captain, 4 deliveries in the week before her attack.
Okay, we got a messenger's name on this?
No, but you know, we never talked to Wilson about messenger service. Maybe this will log her memory.
Your old company took 4 deliveries from a place called Green Machine Bicycle Messengers.
I remember them.
Do you remember anything about particular messengers?
I'd rather not say.
Well, we're asking about a messenger because we believe he may be the man who attacked you.
I didn't misunderstand you. I just don't want to answer your question.
Why?
In 5 years, a lot of things can change.
Yes, they can.
What if I think it's wrong to pursue this? Maybe it's time to let it drop.
Listen, if you're worried about testifying at the trial, that probably isn't even necessary. We can make a case on the DNA and murder weapons alone.
That's not it. This 5-year rule, maybe that's a good thing. You try the best you can, but then you say time to let it go. Time to move on to other things.
But the 5 years aren't even over yet. We can still get him.
No, I don't think you should.
Diane, this man attacked 2 other women. He's still a danger to others.
What if he isn't?
You know who he is, don't you?
Do you?
We met. By accident. He didn't recognize me, but I recognized him. I talked to him.
What did you talk about?
His life. It wasn't a pretty picture either. When I was satisfied that he had changed, I told him who I was.
Why didn't you call the police?
He wanted to turn himself in. I talked him out of it.
Why?
He's a changed man. We prayed together.
You prayed with your attacker?
Yeah, to turn him in. After that would be a betrayal.
I don't know what he told you, but these guys do not change. He is still a danger.
I disagree.
What religion are you?
I'm a member of the Society of Souls.
And what's that?
The lease. We had a long history of pacifism. We believe that if you sit silently, there are times when God will speak to you in your heart.
And you think your attacker was one?
I believed he reformed.
Diane, that's for a jury to decide.
No, love your enemy. It's in the Bible, and it's easy to pay lip service to that ideal, but very hard to live it.
I know a little about the leagues, and they created the penal system in the state. Is that correct?
Yes, but it's been perverted beyond recognition. The prisons are filled with unspeakable violence.
Maybe they are, but this is not the arena to fight that fight, Jennifer. If you're serious about prison reform, then join Prison League. But you're not changing anything by protecting an abuser from being prosecuted.
I came to peace with what happened.
Maybe you did, but what about his other victims? What about the women in this community? Don't you feel some sense of responsibility towards them?
I have thought this through. I'm not turning him in, not to satisfy some abstract concept of justice.
This is not abstract, Diane. These women were abused and robbed. They want their attacker brought to justice. They want to know. You have to at least listen to them.
Diane? It's okay if I call you Diane, isn't it?
Sure, please.
Listen to me, you're not the only one who was attacked by this guy. He also broke into my apartment and Jacqueline's and probably lots of others.
I know what you've been through.
Just tell us his name.
I made a personal spiritual decision.
To keep him all to yourself.
No, that's not it.
Oh come on, this is better than having him in jail. He knows you can drop the dime on him at any time. It's revenge. You have the power of life and death over this piece of crap.
I don't want that kind of power.
But it's true, isn't it? So just drop the Lamb of God act and tell us his name. I deserve a shot at him and so does Jacqueline.
I just want to know who he is.
Finding out his name won't give you peace. Believe me, I found out it changed nothing.
Do the people you work with know you're harboring a fugitive from justice?
The people in my life who need to know support my decision.
Western Health Services, right?
That's where I work.
One of my companies has 600 employees insured by Western. Frank Terrence runs the group plan, right?
What are you saying?
I'm not sure that I can keep my business at a place that employs someone who's a betrayer of women.
Miss Jackson, sit down, please.
Who is he? Don't you know what it's like never leaving the house thinking any man on the street could be him? I want him to fucking pay for what he did to me. Where is he? Tell me his name, you stupid biche.
Ms. Wilson, let's go.
I really hope you find peace.
Shut up, you freak. Shut up.
Wilson's not going to talk.
We've got something like 15 hours.
You've tried every form of persuasion.
Emotional, spiritual, moral.
Then it's time for legal. She may not know it, but she does not have the right to remain silent.
That's only against self-incrimination.
Now let's just forget for 1 second that she's a victim. She is also the only witness to a felony crime. We'll ask a judge for a material witness order.
And compel her to talk? We've never forced any victim to testify who didn't want to.
You want this guy to walk?
You have
information which is material and necessary to the investigation of a felony.
Yes, Your Honor.
You were assaulted and robbed, and you know the name of man who assaulted, abused, robbed and attacked you.
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Would you please tell the court his name?
I would prefer not to.
You realize that I will put you in civil jail unless you cooperate. What is his name?
I respectfully decline to answer.
You have information critical to an ongoing criminal investigation. You refuse to share that information, and your refusal constitutes contempt of court. Diane M. Wilson, you will report to the Go City Women's House in detention until this order is revoked. Bailiff, please remove the prisoner from the court. Adjourned.
Police Commissioner Gordon, Chief Griffin.
Captain, we need to talk.
Of course, by all means. What's this about?
You put an abused victim in the lockup.
Yeah, we did.
Every effort has to be made to ensure that the investigation of the crime does not further traumatize the victim.
This is news.
We know what you're doing all, but I still have to file a letter of complaint for the record.
For the record or for appearances? I mean, who's putting you up to this? The victims' rights groups, the press.
And the mayor, and the police commissioner. I'm taking flack from this on all sides.
She's our only witness and she won't talk. Our back is against the wall.
I just wanted to ensure that we proceed in a way that allows the victim to retain her dignity.
You want to cover your ass in case we don't bust this guy, which is increasingly likely seeing as we have almost no time left.
I resent the implication.
Well, I resent that you waited until Compstad to tell me about the DNA matchups.
Which was in the published circular.
And you sat on it until you could make political hay of it. You robbed me of 3 days that I could have spent looking for the prep.
You were dangerously close to insubordination, Captain.
Well then either write me up.
Or what?
Or get the hell out of my station house. 'Cause until you take this job away from me I've got work to do. Now if we don't find a name for John Doe 125 by tonight, midnight, we never will.
After Diane was attacked I counseled her. My role in the meeting is only part-time and voluntary. I'm also a psychologist.
Did you advise her not to cooperate with the police?
No, Never. I know the statistics on recidivism as well as you do. I tried to persuade her to put the man in prison.
Well, that doesn't conflict with the Quaker philosophy.
Not at all. Quakers sit on juries, there are Quaker judges, Quaker lawyers. Nixon was a Quaker.
He put plenty of people in prison. Some were even guilty.
Diane Wilson is in jail because she won't give us her attacker's name. Do you think that you could talk to her?
I told you, I don't agree with what she did, but this was a decision of conscience. She persuaded me to stand aside in the matter.
She said she prayed with her attacker. He may be a member of your meeting. If we could take a look at the list of your members, we may be able to find him.
I'm sorry. I can't do that.
Why not?
The meeting house is a sanctuary. We have a long history of civil disobedience. We opposed slavery, we opposed the Vietnam War, the Ukraine-Russian War, the Israel-Pakistan War.
And we're trying to stop a domestic abuser.
And I hope you do. But not like that. If I give you the list, you'll have it forever. That compromises the privacy of all of our members.
Well, we can get a warrant to compel you to give us that list.
Well, if that's what you have to do, get your warrant. But be prepared, when you return, I won't be alone.
Other circumstances, I might be out on the steps protesting the police.
I feel very uncomfortable about this.
It's okay, we're not the bad guys. Sir, it's GCPD, we have a search warrant. Officer's probably in the bag.
I urge you to please, turn around, go back to the police station. Or sit and worship with us.
We narrowed down the bike messengers to 36 possibles, who were working during the periods leading up to the attacks. These are their names.
We're looking for a match with the church membership list here. I sent it to your computer.
A. Abigail to F. Franklin.
Alright, let's go people, we got a little over 6 hours.
I have a Ray Bennett with 2 T's, and on the bike list I have the same name, 1 T.
Well, I got the original. Ray Bennett, 1 T, not 2.
Wait a minute, you got the employment application in there.
Yeah, Ray Bennett, 2 T's. The owner must have copied it wrong.
I'll go with 2 T's. Bingo, here is right in the system with that spelling. Arrested July 1st, 2020 for attempted burglary.
Oh wow, that's just nice. What really happened was he was going for his 4th victim and got caught. Did he serve any time?
14 months, paroled September of 2021 cause he was hospitalized for major stab wounds to the stomach and a gunshot wound to the leg during incarceration.
Sounds like he was jumped in prison.
Yeah, well, I'll cry about that later. Here's his address.
He was right under our nose the whole time. I walk past this place every day on the way home from gym.
We got 5 hours left until he gets away with it. I want to see the look on this dirtbag's face when he knows he's going down.
Excuse me, we're looking for Ray Bennett.
I'm right here.
You're under arrest for robbery, assault and attempted murder. Turn around and place your hands behind your back.
Hands now.
WOAH, don't shoot, please. All right. You got me.
Turn around and put your hands behind your back.
For what it's worth, I think these years given you a lot to think about how you'll do again back in prison for the next 15 to 25 years. Hell, maybe even life. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Do you understand that?